All right, cool.
Here.
This deck is pretty crazy.
Well, that's what was promised. Craziness.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. I like it. Wait until I draw Ultimate Infestation. Goodness, people will just cry. Zero, what's up, dude? Oh, he played his Lich King. Okay, but you know what?
Woohoo.
I have BGH just for the Lich King. Is that sad that I have BGH just for the Lich King?
So I don't know if you saw it, but Joy Squishy Dragon is out visiting in Tennessee.
I saw that. I saw that. Who's she visiting?
Uh Nibble and his wife
Nice.
and daughter.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool.
So they got to get together with Zeroshio and his crew.
I saw that. I think Avanti's posted a picture. I was very jealous.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so I'm going to play Ultimate Infestation here. Squishy went to Tom and Chi with us. I had mac and cheese, grilled cheese. Awesome. All right,
we have one around the corner, and I've thought about going there and haven't yet.
Seriously? Drawing all the cards, getting all the armor, summoning a 5/5. That card's insane. I'm still burning cards and I already won. Goodness. All right, now I can officially talk about the deck. Okay. Good deal. All right. I don't ever want to talk about a deck that I've never played. What? Dessert grilled cheese. Oh my gosh. A mac and cheese grilled cheese. Zero. I'm jealous. All right. I think I'm gonna have to fix this not light on my face because I look
It's
really
not bad.
dark.
It's not bad.
Okay. All right.
They have the Mac Daddy, which is mac and cheese, mozzarella cheese, bacon on sour white bread.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
That's a lot of cheese. Grilled cheese donuts.
Let's talk about some Hearthstone. I'm excited. So just to make sure we got it straight, we're only going to talk to and include the old lady, right?
Correct. We're going to be a week behind so that people don't have a chance to play it. At least that's how
so that people don't have a chance. We don't want anyone to have a chance to play it.
No, what I'm saying is
for the people.
We do not want to ruin their experience. Want them to enjoy it as is, and then we ruined it after the week.
We will ruin it after you play it. Totally.
Or after you have a chance to beat it. Okay, you ready?
Oh yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of research real quick.
Well, then I'm going to be right back while you do that.
Oh, okay. All right, that's what I thought. I just wanted to check and see. I listened to a bunch of other podcasts, and like Hero Power, and on Value Town, Chan Man V and Jackie Chan and Ali Straza were talking about having to beat all the bosses with all 9 classes to get to Arthas Hero. And I don't think that's the case from what I just read. The case is that you have to beat the Lich King at the top of the Citadel with all 9 classes. So just that encounter with all 9 bosses. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Boots.
Yeah, so in fact, I don't know, those guys probably already know. They have 5 billion listeners, so they probably already know that they misspoke. So
what?
Chan Man V on Value Town a week ago or 2 weeks ago said that you had to beat every boss with all 9 heroes to get the Arthas skin.
I remember hearing that from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, so you heard it too?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think I might. I don't know. I was gonna send him a message and tell him that was wrong, but he probably already knows because they have like 5 billion listeners. So
have you heard opposing?
Yeah, it's pretty much confirmed. I just saw it on 2 different websites, and then if Zeroshio says it's true, then it has to be true. That you only have to beat the last boss, the Lich King, so the last encounter.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I heard. You said you had to be the last boss.
So they did say that. I thought they.
That's the. So I heard that somewhere. I don't remember where.
So you didn't hear it on Value Town then?
No.
Hear it on Value. Okay.
No.
Well, on Value Town.
In fact, we mentioned it on the first one of the episodes.
I thought we did. I was listening to Value Town, and they said that you had to beat all the encounters with all 9 classes.
No.
I don't think that's right. Yeah, I don't think that's
just
right.
the Lich King.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I just wanted to double check. So, yep. And then, of course, if Zeroshio says it, then it must be true. So I'm going to buy a pack real quick while you're queuing up everything. Do I have an echo tonight?
No.
Good.
Not yet. Make sure your mic's turned on. I won't know until our...
Hello. All right. Seriously, where is this? So we're doing a lot of moving around because we got some good news the other day. So if you keep up with my wife's blog, then you will know that we need to go ahead and start cleaning out the house and making room. So, because something may be coming along in 9 months.
And is it... Well, Kelsey was telling me about the post and said that there's 3 and it's good. They're really good shape. Is it started?
No. So what's going on right now is, and I could link it in Twitch chat. I mean, it's not.
It's public already.
Public knowledge. So we have 3 embryos that are frozen. And all 3 of them were biopsied and sent for testing, and they came back, all 3 normal. And because they did the chromosomal testing, they could tell their gender. So we currently have 2 girls and a boy. And I think it's next month she'll be ready. They have to put her on all these medications again, and we have to give her shots and all this craziness. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna put 2. We're gonna put a boy and a girl in.
I was gonna say, and then let it fall as it may.
That's right. Let me see.
Cool.
Trying to find my wife's blog. I forget what it is. If anybody knows my wife's blog, go ahead and post it or try to post it.
Yeah, I always forget.
Let me see. There it is. Okay. I got it. Here we go. There it is. There we go, Baby Espo. So that's our blog, and it talks about the whole thing, actually. So, and it's pretty, up to date as of yesterday. So, pretty cool. I'm excited. I was very, very happy yesterday. So, good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Let's talk about some Hearthstone, dude. I did a lot of playing this week.
Let's rock it. You're listening to Legend of the Innkeeper, the Hearthstone podcast for casual players.
You're new here. Pull up a chair by the hearth.
Welcome to Legend of the Innkeeper. I'm Vestidius.
And I am Espo.
Welcome back. Hey, after we're done with the show, you want to go get pancakes?
Dude, I hear that's a thing now.
Yes, I hear it is. So it is. Anyways, this week we're talking about a little bit of Hearthstone. There's something like an expansion that came out recently and an event going on called Gamescom in Germany where more stuff's kind of being talked about and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, cool. What about you, though? Have you played any in the last week? Is that like asking if monkeys had a banana?
All right, so I don't want to. I know I was talking about Vestidius before this and looking over the show notes. Last week we obviously talked about, hey, the expansion dropped. So this week we decided to talk about what we would consider the first wing. So it would be the prologue and the lower citadel. We'll talk about that. We talked about the prologue a little bit already. We'll talk about the lower citadel, and then we decided not to spoil what I already played last week, and that's starting with the upper reaches and doing that. So we're going to talk about the lower citadel this week. So I played the upper reaches, and then after I finished that, I went in and experimented again because now that I have my golden rogue, I've just been
and you got that after the show
just playing
last week.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did get that after the show, didn't I? So right. I got my 500th win. In fact, let me take a look at where I'm sitting. How many? No, that's not right. There we go. Okay, I'm at exactly 500. So there you go. So I got my golden rogue after the show last week, and immediately went to priest and started playing this crazy fun priest deck that I made with the Lich King and all the bring back the dead. I got all the cards that will bring my minions back to life after they die. And then, of course, the Lich King is kind of like my finishing move. So played that a little bit. And then I went in and played some Deathstalker Rexar Hunter. I made a stitched... What did I call it? Because I think I called it something. Stitched Knight. So I made a Stitched Knight deck, and it's the crazy thing is on turn 6. Usually I'm playing Deathstalker Rexar, doing 2 damage to everybody, and then my hero power changes. So next turn I do my best. I don't care what the board state is, what I got going on. I want to make a Stitched Beast. I want to just put two together. So I do my best to use that 7 mana. I'll go ahead and hopefully get 2 low-cost minions, and I can play that right away. So my favorite beast to stitch together is like a lifesteal beast with taunt. So you get a beast with taunt and a beast with lifesteal, or a beast with lifesteal and a beast with poisonous. There's some crazy combinations. Obviously, taunt and poisonous is awesome, but awesome stuff, man. So much fun, dude. So much fun stitching these beasts together and then playing them. Some of them have charge and poisonous, which is, insta kill. There's some really cool stuff. Having a lot of fun with that. And then just today, I started playing Druid, and I'll tell you why a little bit later. So and just so you guys can keep up with tracking what I'm doing, because I want to try to get my Golden Priest. I'm at 235 wins on my Priest right now. So that will be my 6th Golden Hero, I think. Is that right?
No, like
no,
4th.
4th. I think it's my 5th. Because
Rogue,
I got
Warlock,
Hunter, Warlock, Hunter, Paladin, Warlock, Rogue, Paladin, and then Priest. It'll be my 5th.
It will be your 5th, right?
Yeah, it'll be my 5th. So not too shabby. I'm exactly halfway with all of it, because there's
actually,
9, and I'm 250 into my 5th. So if you do the math right, I'm 5 over halfway. I'm sorry, 15 under halfway, because it's 35. So not bad. Having a lot of fun. So, and didn't play the arena like I wanted. I thought I would be playing arena. But man, I like making these decks, and having fun. And yeah, not that the arena isn't fun, but man, just creating these decks. And I bet I've opened 5 packs since last week's show.
Mm-hmm.
Crafted. Did I have the Lich King last week? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I crafted the Lich King, and I crafted Ultimate Infestation. The 5 and 5 and 5 and 5 card.
Yep.
So, but I'll talk a little bit that in a little bit. Also, Rez and I played some Diablo and some Hearthstone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, season 11 is upon us. So Rez and I wanted to get our pets in Diablo. So we did the run up to whatever you need to do. There's all these achievements that you have to get the pet. And then, of course, we went way past that.
Of course, yeah.
Once you start playing Diablo,
I started playing around with the Necro once that came out, and I haven't gone back yet to it, but I need to.
You need to.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, you need to join Rez and I. The pet is actually, so in WoW, the little green dragon pet you can get in WoW? It's the same thing. So,
but you get it in Diablo?
Cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the panda type pet, the Jade Serpent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
got it.
Yeah. Well, then you get a portrait and a banner and wings or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, how was your week?
Pretty good. I did play a little bit. I was playing around with a paladin deck, because I had Boulevard Fireblood and Corpse Taker and a few other cards I wanted to play with in that deck. So I built a deck around that. It's called Shields of the Light, because it's a very shield friendly deck. Trying to take advantage of the Blood Knight, where you gain all these shields and then get 3/3 for each shield loss when you take them away. So that's kind of fun playing with that deck. And then I also built a deck around the Warrior Scourge Lord Garage. So it's called No Pain, No Gain. And that dude is all about doing some damage. So I wanted to play with that one as well. So those two are the big things I played with. And then I also was still working on week 1. I didn't have a whole lot of time to play this week, because Squishy went out of town. So we were hauling her around to the airport and doing this stuff like that, and then doing my wife and I went out to town as well, and so traveling, doing a bunch of driving and such, so we didn't get a whole lot of playtime, but I did get some downtime to play in the evenings when we were back at our place we were staying at. However, internet wasn't that great. So trying to play matches, it kept dropping me in the middle of a match and reconnecting, and it's like, I can only do so much. And that was when I had set, I was like, I'm going to get some good time in here on Hearthstone, right? No. So it is what it is. Yeah, nothing like that. Yep. So anyways, I ended up finally beating Lady Death Whisperer. That's how far behind I am on the expansion, and beat her tonight before the show, finally. And
okay.
Yeah. So I got that wing, got my pack opened. I got a golden Roll the Bones out of that pack. I was excited.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like golden cards. So, but other than that, I want to play your priest deck, so you'll have to share that. I will definitely want to play that. And that's about it for me. So, in the news, though, there's a lot of stuff going around with this Fireside Gathering thing.
I heard about that.
It's this little event where you go gather with a bunch of other players who are playing, and you play Hearthstone together in a group setting. There's a pretty cool video that they have that they're showing that you can watch about Fireside Gatherings. Kind of a little humor to it, and the funny thing about the very end of it is that all these people who come from a variety of different places and different levels of experience with Hearthstone get to play with each other, have a great time, and have so much fun that when they're leaving, you're like, hey, you want to go get pancakes? And they're all like, yeah, let's go do this. So apparently we have another friend, Vantes, who's a big host for Fireside Gatherings in the Tennessee area. So if you're in the Knoxville area, he's got an awesome Fireside Gathering that meets frequently. But yeah, he gets a lot of people asking him now, are we going to have pancakes at the Fireside Gatherings? That's quite funny. So apparently it's become a thing that you need to have pancakes at Fireside Gatherings. So we are propagating that idea. You should do that. So, but the cool thing is what they've done is Blizzard is putting a bigger emphasis on Fireside Gatherings. Even more so, they're adding a new thing called a Fireside Brawl. We talked about this a little bit last week. There's been a little bit more details that have come out this week. In fact, at Gamescom, which is going on right now in Germany, which is a big games community event where lots of different games are coming out there announcing different stuff. Blizzard has a big exposure there. They've got conversations going on about all their different games and the things coming up, and they have big tournaments going on in there and craziness. But one of the things they've launched there is a actual Gamescom brawl using this new Fireside Brawl idea. So what's happening is everyone who's at Gamescom is there in the location can join in the battle which they have against the Supreme Lich King. But the craziness here is that he has 1 million health. Okay, think about that. 1 million.
1 million is actually a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's quite a bit.
So what you do is you choose you actually kind of do this with a friend is the whole idea. You choose a hero on your tablet or whatever, and you get a pre-made deck. And you start with 9 mana and 20 health, which isn't much considering you're going against a dude that's got 1 million health. You do as much damage as you can, and when you die, you pass the device or tablet or computer over to your second player, who gets to choose a new class through a Discover interface, and he or she continues the battle. And then when you complete it, you get a report telling you how much damage you did against the boss. You're trying to do as much damage as possible. So you'll see his health go down as other people are doing this in the community. And there's a video out there. We have a link in the show notes if you want to watch it. Tice is introducing this whole concept, and he's playing it for the first time at Gamescom. And you could see he's doing all this damage and stuff and trying to get him knocked down, and he ends up doing like 120 points of damage against him. So 120 points of damage, and there were 100 people. It says 99 plus attacking the Supreme Lich King. And Zeroshia just let us know that when they ended the day, he was just under 400,000.
Oh, wow.
So they knocked him down quite a bit throughout the day. So tomorrow, he's probably going to die. Anyways, it's a great exposure. The cool thing is that this is going to be available for all the innkeepers to use at your individual locations, and they can adjust the battle depending on how many people are showing up at the event. So they can change it so that he has 1,000,000 health, or they can drop it down quite a bit. So if you have a smaller group, that he only has 1,500 health, something a lot more reasonable to play with. But it's a neat idea to play with this. So
yeah,
and you can do it with as little as 2 people. But the idea is that when you go to a fireside gathering, if you arrive there on site and you have your locations enabled on your device, it will notice and detect that you're on the network with a bunch of other people at the same location and will invite you into the option to choose a fireside brawl. And then you go into that. So something you may want to check out in your local area. Go to firesidegatherings.com to see where there are ones near you. And the other thing that came about is that Dean Aiello came out and responded to a post kind of pushing that the Druid seems to be very strong right now and is kind of getting a lot of attention. And he did say that, it's not abnormal, especially right after launch, to see one certain archetype get popular early on and people latching on to certain powerful decks. We saw that last expansion too. It's just what you see happen, especially as you have people doing this on streams, or you playing these decks on streams and doing them in tournaments and things at events like this. But they are discussing internally if there's some changes might need to come to the Druid and some Druid cards. And these aren't official discussions saying we're going to do this. This is more them saying, things like Innervate, Swipe, and Wild Growth. These are class-defining cards. They're good to have them, but they really shouldn't be auto-include cards into every single deck. That's not what they want to see as the design goal. They want to see variety happen. And if you've got certain cards that are in every single deck, then they would like to kind of keep that from being the case. So we may see at some point in the future that they look at changing some of those cards for that reason. No word yet that they're doing that. It's just here are some cards that concern them a little bit. Another one is Spreading Plague. They're watching this card. The current meta shows that a lot of the Swarm style decks, this helps Druid defend against it. However, it shouldn't be an auto-include card. So if the meta switches where there's not as many Swarm style decks, then this should go away as being a auto-include card in many decks, or being played as much as it is. It's one of those things that they're going to keep watching to make sure that doesn't stay the case when that shifts. And then the card you were talking about, Ultimate Infestation. There's a lot of people saying, this card's overpowered, or it's got way too much strength, or there's all kinds of different things about it. But in their evaluation and looking at the stats and everything else in general, the changing this card would only really impact a player's sentiment value towards it, but not necessarily adjust how the play or win rate would be without this card. In other words, this card isn't really affecting the win rates. It's just how you feel about how the card plays when you're playing against it or playing with it. So I don't see that. It does not sound like that's going to be something they're going to change anytime soon. Have you been seeing much Druid on ladders? Silently nods.
Well, I've been seeing obviously Wild Growth a lot, Innervate a lot. I've been playing a lot more control stuff, so I don't see Swipe too much because I'm not loading up my board. And I haven't seen anybody play Ultimate Infestation against me. But man, Spreading Plague, I hate. I mean, I don't hate it, but it's when it drops, I'm like, oh man, because it's tough to get rid of. It is very tough to get rid of. You wouldn't think it would be, but it's just, it's too big of a speed bump for me. I have a tough time. I usually end up winning, but it's just, really? That again?
Now, are the decks you're using against it decks that have a Swarm style feel to it, where you have lots of minions on the board?
I don't know.
Okay.
But you're talking about, do they?
No.
Yeah, I mean they've
playing,
got quite a few minions on the board.
Well, Spreading Plague, the idea behind it is that if you have a lot of minions coming against you, that this kind of defends against having all those extra minions being played against you. So that's what I was saying is, are you because you're seeing this as your opponent has played it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're playing,
I mean, I played all these cards too. So, but I'm not playing it. I'm playing it in more of a big minion druid deck, not such a swarm. If that maybe is that what you're asking?
No, your opponent would be a swarm.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
In so the question cases, is your opponent usually a swarm deck? That's when you play it and get good value out of it.
Yes.
Or are you playing a swarm deck against a druid and they're getting good value out of it?
Well, they're getting decent value. I mean, I'll have 3 minions on the board and they have 0, so they get 3. What are they? They're scarabs, I think, or beetles. I think they're actually called beetles. But it's an interesting deck. But pretty. I don't see problems. I mean, you're always going to see some decks really come to the top, and people are going to play them a lot, and then I think it'll even out. I don't see this being a huge problem.
And by the way, they are scarab beetles. So you had it right, but
both on both accounts. On both accounts.
It's a 1/5 taunt beast with cost 2 mana.
Yeah, and they're beasts, which they have a few spells that actually coincide with beasts. So yeah, there's a lot of synergies on this right now, and Druid's looking pretty strong.
Since it's a new card, it's a rare one. The text is summon a 1/5 scarab with taunt. If your opponent has more minions, cast this again. So basically, as long as your opponent has more minions than you do, it keeps popping this scarab out on the board over and over again.
It does, yes.
Okay. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to mention just off the top is that, of course, the new wing has opened up, the upper reaches, which you mentioned. And if you clear these 3 bosses, you get a Frozen Throne pack that you can open. And the 3 bosses are Blood Queen Lanathel, Professor Putricide, and Cinder Gosa. So you get to place her in this wing. We will, like you said, we won't be going into details on this week because we want to give you a chance to actually play it and check it out. I know you've already had about 5 days to mess with it already. But at the same time, give you a chance to figure it out on your own, because that's a lot of the fun is just trying to try different things if you have ideas on maybe how to beat these things. But if you don't, next week we'll give you a couple deck ideas that may help you push over that threshold to win if you haven't already figured it out. So cool. Did you want to talk about the
I agree.
Espo mode?
So we saw Encounter at the Crossroads for the 6th time. Now, a few times Encounter at the Crossroads have included a few different things. Like I think for Karazhan, they included some party goers. For Ungoro, I think they maybe did something a little bit different. But this is the 6th time we've seen Encounter at the Crossroads. So it's getting a little stale in my opinion.
I thought it did work well though, because you got to see cards of the new expansion that you may not have seen with opening packs.
And that's kind of what I was going to say. With that said, we do, as a newer player, you do get to see cards that you don't have in your collection, which is always a good thing. So I can't really say anything bad about it. And I'm sure that was the intention, to allow people to, get to see the new cards being played.
So, yes. And I did do this. I did get my pack, and you get a classic pack for finishing this.
Yeah.
But it was cool to play with some of those cards I don't have yet. And
yep.
I actually enjoyed it. Didn't play it more than twice, I think. 2 or 3 times. Because I won the first match right off the bat, but I still played another round just because it's fun.
It is fun, yeah.
And I think I played 2 different classes just to kind of get a feel for it. But yeah, well, it's gone now. You can't play it, but New Brawl comes tomorrow. We'll play something new.
Yes, it does.
Okay, let's dig into the Lower Citadel. Lower Citadel. Well, first of all, you do start with a prologue, like we mentioned before. You get a pre-made deck. It's not something you can actually choose the deck on. But there's a storyline there. If you haven't done it, you should go do that because it's pretty cool. It's kind of fun. But then once you defeat that first prologue, then you move into the first wing, which is the lower citadel. Your first dude you have to face is Lord Marogar. And the trick to this battle essentially is that you need to kill him in one turn. Because his 0 mana hero power is called Skeletal Reconstruction. And what that does is he restores your hero to full health. And that is his hero, not yours. Yep. So one of the ways to do this is really through the priest doing a Divine Spirit Interfire combo on one of those bone spikes that he throws on the board that you can steal to your side of the board. Those bone spikes are 4 mana, 0/8 minion, and the text on the card is at the start of your turn, deal 15 damage to the enemy hero. Needless to say, you cannot leave one of those on his side of the board for very long, or you will die essentially in 2 turns. You're toast.
Yep.
So, what did you think about this one?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. It had you, it had you thinking about, well, I gotta build an OTK deck, or at least, get some minions that are fat enough to stay, and then slam face and for the win. So, it worked.
I first tried. I knew the priest was probably the best option in here, but I did try a fast deck with bigger minions, just to see what I could do, and you just cannot compete with that.
It's definitely
15
tough.
Damage turn on those bone spikes. The bone spikes are rough, but once I switched over to the OTK, which is 1 turn kill priest idea, using that stealing of the bone spikes, I had no problem with this one. It was fairly easy to turn around.
I beat him with Murloc Shaman.
Really?
So I played a lot of minions that swap attack and health.
Okay.
That way I could kill off, because his bone spikes are that's why you lose. You lose because of the bone spikes. That's hands down. That's how I lost 3 times. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play, cards that, have attack and health. Yet they swap. They instantly kill those 0/8s. I think that's it. They were 0/8s.
Yeah.
But I played that, and he couldn't keep guys on the board. And I just overwhelmed him with Murlocs, and then, to the face I went with old Merc guy once I got enough out there with my Tide Caller. I think it's a Tide Caller. Tide Caller and old Merc guy, and then the War Leader. I just went all to face in 1 turn and killed him. So you just have to control his board.
He also throws out the Bone Storm, which does 1 damage to all your minions and draws a card. And that didn't give you much trouble. That
got me a couple of times, and then I had to tweak it and make sure my Murlocs had enough health. And you had to play the Murloc that gives all other Murlocs +2 health, and that helps out a lot. But he did sneak a few double Bone Storms in there, which I don't approve of. So double Bone Storm is not cool. But I ended up killing him with Murloc Shaman. So.
It's funny, in World of Warcraft, I spend a lot of time in the auction house, and there's some dude that's always in the auction house that has a pet summoned. I think it's a warlock, and he's always casting Bone Storm, and it's Bone Storm and bones all over the place and stuff. It's like, oh, dude, can you turn the bet off, please? Stop it with the Bone Storm. So I end up muting myself as I go into
I always have that pet out. Anytime I'm running raids or dungeons, I always have that pet out. Bone Storm. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so in the show notes, you'll see I do have the Lord Marogar OTK Easy First Try deck if you want to have something to play with and try it out if you pass this if you haven't already. One thing I will mention that this is coming from Hearthstone.com, and if you have been using the Innkeeper app and have that installed on your computer and allowing it to connect to Hearthstone to gather your card information, you can log into Hearthstone with your account, and it will tell you how much dust you need to craft this deck. And it'll also tell you which cards you'll need to craft. And it'll also help you build the deck in the process too. So it's kind of neat to have that tool available to you. But the best part is that you can go through and quickly see that you don't need to craft any cards, or it's gonna cost you 1,600 dust to craft a deck or something like that. It's kind of a nice reference for that. But anyways, links are in the show notes if you want to check out that deck. So similar thing now. Let's moving on to the next boss, Deathbringer Sourfang. Pretty much you need to bring a weapon to this fight because he can only be attacked with weapons. He does have a reduced health. He only has 20 health, but he brings along a bunch of taunts. So essentially, you just kind of got to kill his minions off with your minions as best you can while you continue smacking him in the face with weapons. So any thoughts on this one?
Rogue.
Rogue, okay.
I went rogue. Definitely went rogue. I just typed in weapon in the search and just anything that buffed a weapon, anything that gave me a weapon. And yeah. So this one actually, so I played on my Asian account also. So newer players, I wanted to mention that. For Marogar, I just played a bunch of dudes that had big attack and big health, and tried to get those out early. So they were mostly vanilla minions that, were like a 4-mana 4/4, and every turn I tried to play a minion that was big enough to survive through Bone Storm and could, do damage to his 0/8s. And I actually ended up getting a few cards that swapped health and attack, so that helped too. And then, of course, for Sourfang, I ended up just playing rogue and just trying to buff some weapons and just try to control his board as I went to face with my hero power every turn. And it took a long time, but I did it. Now, of course, on my US account, it was, quick and easy. But it's difficult for a new player.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the decks that I ended up using is more of a pirate warrior kind of base to it. Okay. And I got a link, of course, in the show notes if you want to check it out. But it's a easy Deathbringer Sourfang win. It's got Sir Finley Burgleton, Patches of Pirates, Bloodsail Cultist, Frothing Berserker, the Crab Crawler, Bloodsail Raiders, Dread Corsairs, South Sea Deckhands, Zos First Mate, and then Ship's Cannon and Korkon Elite. Of course, then you also have Gorehowl, 2 Death Spites, 2 Arcanite Reapers, and 2 Fiery War Axes. Upgrade, Forge of Souls, and Heroic Strike. I mean, it's just like anything you can do with weapons and pirates.
Wow. All the stuff.
So, all the stuff. And yeah, that was a fairly easy deck to go against that battle. So, I mean, I was doing 5 damage per turn easily with weapons, getting all the buffs and stuffs. So it didn't last very long. So definitely recommend that one. Although your rogue one sounds kind of interesting. It's probably a little more finessing your way through it. Building up your weapons.
It was. I had to think about it. I had to make sure I, took advantage of my weapon charges, and it's pretty cool. I enjoyed it.
Okay, and then
it was a lot of fun.
The last, any further thoughts on that one before we move on? Okay, moving on.
No.
Lady Death Whisper. Lady Death Whisper. This one revolves around keeping your dragon friend alive and going to face. Just whacking in the face. What you have is a dragon on your side of the board. It's Valtheria Dreamwalker. And she has 30 attack, but she's can't attack unless she's at full health. Oh, and she can't be attacked unless she's at full health. So she starts out with 1 health. And that's damaged. She can be up to 5 health total. Sounds pretty easy, right? You just heal her up and then she can attack and all that crazy. Well, there is a little twist in here. Lady Death Whisper. She is your opponent. She has 30 health and 90 armor.
That's a lot.
Yes, you heard me right. 90 armor. And that's not the bad part. Her hero power is called Whisper of Death that does damage to all enemy minions until they have 1 health. And she always casts this at the start of her turn. So essentially, at the beginning of her turn, all your minions on the board suddenly have 1 health, no matter how much health they had before. You could have healed them up to 10. You could have given them all kinds of buffs. They'll be at 1 health the next turn.
But it's not that their health is changed to 1. It's they're damaged all the way down to 1. So you're still having to heal up that damage. It's not that she changes it. Because if she changed it, then you'd be like, oh, now I can attack because, But yeah, nope. It's tough.
So it's kind of a good thing, bad thing. Because good thing is she can't attack your dragon that's on your side of the board because she is damaged. But you can't attack because she's damaged and can't attack. So one way around this is you can silence it, right? Silence the card and suddenly she can attack no matter what. However, when you silence it, she now can be hit. And if you have her down to 1 health, it's really easy for your opponent to take that out. Unless you have taunts. So the way I beat it finally was playing a deck that was a priest deck and using a lot of heals, using a lot of taunts as I could. And, I tried to put those taunts out there that thought, oh, great, this taunt's going to be out here that has Divine Shield. So I'll get 2 rounds, essentially, or 2 hits on a Divine Shield. No! Because keep in mind, her hero power does damage until all minions have 1 health. Which means she destroys Divine Shield and then knocks it down to 1 health. Yep. So Divine Shield doesn't help at all. So that was frustrating. What was better was having the Sledge Belcher. That helped. Get past that too, because that has when it gets destroyed, it brings another taunt on the board.
Yep.
So there's lots of different things that you can do with this one, but the deck I have that's recommended is Easy Lady Death Whisper Win. And it took me 2 games to get it, but once you get the idea, it's fairly easy to get through. So, anything else on that one?
I played, let me see, I want to say I beat it with Priest pretty easy, just healing the dragon up and going to face, what do you go, 5 times to face, I think, or something like that. And then after that, I played Paladin. I played a healing Paladin to beat it. But I definitely did the healing part where you just heal up the dragon and go face for 30 damage each turn. And it was pretty easy. And I did the same thing on my Asian account where I just played a bunch of minions that healed and it was very, very easy.
Well, Zeroshi has put in chat, he said, sounds like Paladin. Blessed Champion on turn 5, plus Blessed Champion on turn 6, plus Equality on turn 7, 120 damage in 1 turn.
Zeroshi did it. He did it the right way. That's awesome.
So anyways, that gets you your first Frozen Throne card pack once you defeat it. And then unlocks the next wing, which is this week's wing, or last Thursday's wing, the Upper Reaches. And then on Thursday this week, we will have the next wing opened up. And we'll get to play with that one too. So, and again, next week, we're going to talk about the Upper Reaches in a little more detail, give you some ideas on how to defeat that, so that way you still have a little more time to play with it. And then the following week, we will talk about the next wing at that point.
Yeah, I'm excited, dude. I have beaten the Upper Reaches, but not on my Asian account, which is basically my brand new player account. So we'll see. We'll see how I fare over there. So
cool
good stuff. I've really enjoyed this adventure. When they said that they were doing away with these expansions, or not expansions, the adventure modes like Karazhan and Elevex, Blackrock Mountain, I was shedding tears and I was frustrated and mad. May have even threatened Team 5 a few times. But they've done it. This is good. I had faith. There was a few times there where maybe you thought I didn't, but I had faith that they would do something to make me and the rest of the people that like adventures happy, and they have. It's free, so we don't have to pay for it, which is very nice. And we get packs, and we get, soon the first boss or the first encounter that you make it through, you get a legendary. And it's not just hey, maybe you'll play this legendary. It's one of the 9 Death Knights, which, I mean, even the worst Death Knight hero, which is maybe the warrior or the rogue, something like that. I mean, even the worst one is awesome. I mean, they're all really good and fun to build decks around, and not so expensive to build decks around. You can do it. So super excited. And then you get 3 packs, and you get great experiences that you got with these adventures in the past. So although it doesn't have, I think one adventure had 5 wings, including a prologue. We might not get that, but I mean, at least we get, I think there's 4 wings. So we get one with the Lich King and, who is it? Tyrion or Tyrellian? I think it's Tyrion. And then you get to, fight the wing that we talked about tonight. And then next week, this week, we're in the upper reaches. And then next week we fight the final boss, the Lich King. And if you beat him with all 9 classes, you get a hero skin for free. So it's just a little bit of work that you have to do, and you can get 3 packs, a hero skin, a legendary card. I don't think that's too bad. And you don't have to buy anything, which is cool, and you get a great experience. So good stuff. I'm super excited. I love the way they did this, and the Lich King is not disappointing.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, I have to say also that the adventure has been challenging. It's not been a complete fly-through experience, because I think we got that with the last adventure. That was more of a you just kind of blew through it somewhat. It seemed easier than others, but this one makes you think. I mean, there's some really unique twists to these, and that keeps you going. So yeah, like you said, upper reaches are next, and then we got a boss battle after that.
Yeah.
So opens week 3, which is this week.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Fun. Definitely.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Well, that's about it for this week. Kind of a little shorter show, but there's we want to get back to playing.
I want to get back to try to beat these bosses again.
So we didn't get any reviews, no emails. However,
so earlier I was talking about the decks I was playing this past week, and I saw one, before the show. I get on Twitter and I look for anybody that's tagged me in a tweet, and I, find the one that I think is cool or pertains to what we're doing that week. And I found, let me see, I believe, oh geez, I didn't copy it. Can you do me a favor and find out who posted that? So they posted a link to a Druid deck called Bigger Druid. And
Wayne Wells.
Okay. Wayne tweeted at me and said, with my own tweaks. So I copied the string to my collection, and I didn't have Malfurion, and I didn't have Ultimate Infestation. So I didn't have 1600 dust, but I had enough to make an Ultimate Infestation. So I went ahead and made that card, and I ended up playing and winning with Ultimate Infestation. He had 5 health left. I think I was still at 30, and I had Ultimate Infestation in my hand on turn 10, and obviously took it to face, and I was burning cards as my portrait was coming up with the win. So fireworks are going off and cards are still being burnt because I'm drawing 5 cards. So it was cool. So I approve. We talked about, I believe it was Web Weave we talked about earlier. That was one of the Druid cards that we were talking about, or Spreading Plague. Mm-hmm. And I definitely enjoyed playing Spreading Plague. And Ultimate Infestation is just such an awesome card. It might be a win more card because I was definitely way far ahead. But pretty cool deck, and thanks to Wayne for doing that. I also looked on Facebook. Nothing crazy. We've got our normal Patreons posting cool stuff about the names of people that they see, when they're playing, and a few other things. So keep posting that. And thanks to everybody that's been out there posting about their Knights of the Frozen Throne experience. Really cool stuff.
Yeah, lots of good stuff out there.
Yeah, I love seeing it.
Yeah, and then Facebook shout out. I didn't really have any specifically. I mean, we've been, again, a name of the week, with our, I think it's actually, who was it this week? It's Will Talbert's doing it. Hearthstone's name of the week, Gooey Chewy.
Chewy isn't Chewbacca.
I guess so.
Chewie.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. Very cool. I approve.
Okay, and it's probably too late for you. I should just mention this, but there's also Hearthstone is doing another Choose Your Champion event for the esports coming up. You pick a competitor to be your champion, cheer them on, and you earn packs as they go on to victory. And this week, you get to do it if you do it by tomorrow. So if you're listening to this after the 23rd, I'm sorry, but you missed it. But go out and choose your champion. It's between 4 different champions you get to choose from. The champions are not people, but teams. It is the USA. Going to back up in here. I've already selected, so it doesn't show me the teams here. Okay, USA, Korea, Ukraine, and Czech Republic. So you can choose your winning team, and if they go on to win, then you get more and more rewards. So
neat. Yeah, I chose Korea because that's
where Rez is at.
That's where Rez is. So yeah.
Okay. Well, that's going to be it for this week. We're going to wrap it up here. And if you want to check us out, you can watch the show live on twitch.tv/LOTI podcast, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time, roughly. You also watch it on YouTube. If you come to our YouTube channel, it's legendoftheinnkeeper.com/YouTube. Or just check out the website, Legend of the Innkeeper. And you can also support us through Patreon at patreon.com/legendoftheinnkeeper. So hopefully you have a good time next week. I hope you're able to get through those battles in the wings. And if you do and you have a good chance, show us what you did. Post it on Twitter at LOTI Podcast, also Espo at CMTD Gamer. Love to see what you're able to do and what you end up with at the end when you open your packs. But
good stuff.
Come check us out back in next week, and we'll talk the next wing. We'll see how that goes. So, later, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out.
Good job, team. Excuse me.
Your opponent left.
I didn't know I had an opponent. Oh my goodness. This cough has been my opponent. I've been choking.
I was going to say, you're did pretty good up until the last second.
Yeah, right? Okay. So anyway. Yeah, dude, I've been having a blast playing this adventure. You're going to love it. You are going to love it.
Thanks, Zero.
Awesome. Thank you, Zero Show.
Okay, well, I'm going to go grab some food I haven't eaten yet. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, go eat. Go eat.
So we'll catch you later, guys. And looks like upload's already.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, definitely. Zencaster